I'll just say, I think this is what it means. What are you turned off by? What do women do that totally turn you off? This is actually a great question. What do women do, we women do, that just totally turn you off? And I'd ask that each man answer that. And ladies, let's take some notes. Get your pens ready. Get your pens ready. You need to think about it for a minute. Let them think. Men are thinkers. That's the other thing. We can just blah, 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 blah. They need a minute to digest it. That's fine.
Well, for me, what turns me off is when a woman is acting like a man, when she has that hardcore exterior, not being the feminine, gentle flower that men are grown accustomed for women to being. Another thing for me is just women that are too loud and talkative. See, my wife talks a lot.
With the exception of his wife.
Varying degrees of just talking and not exercising wisdom and common sense. So.
I agree with him. On the first thing, what was the first thing that you said?
Not
like when she
being
acts manly.
feminine.
Yeah, that's right.
Not being feminine.
I think that because obviously this is 2011, a lot of women have to be independent and single, and that's understandable. However, every woman I know in this room, for the most part, will say, when I come home though, when I'm independent in the office, when I come home, I want a man. That's what I want. I want a man who's gonna treat me like a woman. Well, then you gotta act like a woman. It's that simple. I don't want, Miss Independent in my face, reminding me that, oh, I don't need you. Like, what do you mean you don't need me? Like, I'm not saying you absolutely do need me, but I want to feel like you do need me, Act like a woman. I'll act like the man that you want.
Okay.
Well, not act, be the man that you want.
I believe, Tonya, you alluded to that when you gave the counsel to let us open the door for you. I think you can look at that metaphorically over the course of your entire life. Jesus mentioned the fact that there are a great deal of very successful women in society today, and the earning potentials, the earning scale has even shifted. If you look at some of the statistics, it creates an environment where there are a lot of women who financially have no need for a counterpart to do what they want, to go where they want, to buy what they want. But Jesus put it very plain, we need to feel needed. So if you could craft a way in your mind to create a space for us in your life where we can open the door, where we can grab your bag for you, metaphorically speaking, it perks us up. It makes us feel like there's a cause we can belong to.
And I really agree with that. I remember one metaphor that somebody told me. It was like the dragon, the knight who slays the dragon for the princess. She's like, oh, I'm the damsel in distress. And women think, oh, she looks weak, That's not how I perceive you, though. I want to slay the dragon for you. Imagine if, like, you were a knight. But imagine you were... What I'm saying is, imagine you were a man and you wanted to protect your woman, and your woman said, you know what, I got the dragon.
I got it.
So I'm going to go to another woman.
Wait, Jesus, you need to say that again. Say that again. Talk a little louder.
What I'm saying imagine you were a man and you wanted to protect your woman, and there was a dragon attacking your woman, and that woman said, nah, I got him. No. How does that make you feel? You feel like, you know what, I'm not needed here. So therefore, there's no purpose, exactly. So I'm not needed here, therefore I'm going to somebody else who does need me. Because we need to feel needed. We do. So.
Big Joe?
I just think that, there's a lot of women who perceive submission as a weakness. And I just think that, I work with various women and they submit, what is that? And, it's just so wrong. Because, I don't know exactly how they're really thinking about that word, but, the real meaning of that word is it puts women in such a good place. with their men. It really does.
Let me just say one thing about that. The word submission, we've heard so much. I'm not submitting and this, that, and the other. I totally submit to my husband. And those of you who know me, you know I'm not a weak woman. It's not about being a weak woman at all. I heard Michael Baisden put it the best way I've ever heard it put. He said to submit means, and I love words. Sub means under. So to submit means to come under the mission. So if there's a man who has a mission for the home, for himself, who has a vision, you're coming in alignment with the mission. You are coming under the mission he has for this home. So my husband and I, we started out, we have this vision. I am under, and I'm covered by the mission that he has for this marriage. So submitting, when you look at it that way, what Joe said is right. We got it all twisted. What the meaning of that is, you're coming under the mission, the charge that the man has for the home and for you. Mary Beth, you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to comment. Jesus, I love you. You're one of my best friends, and I'm so impressed by you. But I have a fire-breathing dragon tattooed on my ankle, and you can slay my dragon anytime.
All right. Any more cards? I'm on the last two, and then we'll open it up for questions. Do men look at the imperfections we always obsess over in ourselves?
No.
Okay, I'll say it again. Do men look at the imperfections we always obsess over in ourselves? Do men look at the imperfections?
No. Many times what a woman thinks is their imperfection, a man doesn't see at all, to be honest with you. It's one of those things where the concept of grass is greener. Something I might not like in myself, somebody else doesn't even see or realize or recognize. Something that a woman would not like about herself, the man isn't even paying attention to.
Okay, Rock, you had
It
something?
also depends on the emphasis that she places on the imperfection. Because a lot of times I'll say, no, I don't think there's a problem at all with that.
I agree. Victor?
Can I just add that God loves you exactly the way you are, and it's so important, just like Tonya reminded you and tried to plant the seed at the top of this evening, that you're worthy of a loving relationship, and to keep that worthiness in the center and the forefront of your mind is so critical, because insecurity, when it breeds and it festers, again, it becomes such a part of your identity and your countenance that it becomes a cancer within any relationship. The more time you're spending obsessing on these things, it actually is robbing the time that the relationship could have to bloom and blossom. So remember that you're in God's sight, you're the apple of his eye just the way you are.
Thank you. All right, how do you feel when a woman points out your faults?
I hate it.
I hate it.
I mean, real men, they don't like that. I mean, let's face it. We don't like it, but we accept it.
You sure do?
Yeah, we accept it, and guess what? It bothers us, and we don't want her to have to repeat those words. We really don't.
My husband is Derek is like, can we move on?
I guess it would kind of depend how it's pointed out, though. Because
Okay.
I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't mind, I want to learn and I want to grow and I want to develop and get better. So I don't mind constructive criticism, but I think it depends on how it's pointed out.
Okay.
If it's given, you do this nice, but if it's how it's framed.
Yeah.
If it's framed properly, then I think it's easier to swallow. Because no one likes criticism, man or woman. But if it's framed well, in speaking to someone, I think it's easier to digest and
I get that. Okay.
Also, back to what you said, actually, Tonya. You said that men don't want to be changed, and it's true, I mean, and you can point out a flaw, it all depends on different, men, but I don't mind someone saying, this is my problem with you, but if I say, okay, well, I don't want to change it, I need you to say, okay, cool, that's it, not constantly reminding me like, hey, you're evil, you know, you're evil, you're evil. I'm not saying they say that, but I'm saying, you know, it's just,
So I have to, in front of all these people, honey, I have to work on how I point stuff out. to you.
Delivery.
Yes, the delivery.
Yeah.
I should know better.